Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. I'm Kimberly D'Souza. It's just about 8 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock. And of course, today is Tobago Thursday. So as you know, normally on Tobago Thursday, we head across to our folks in Tobago to check in to see what they've been up to. And of course, today is no different. On the line with me, I have Miss Trisha Leacock, who is the owner, and she's also the designer and founder of a resort wear called Kaiso Swim. Miss Leacock, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I know that you are in the U.S., but you have some Tobagonian roots. Do you miss home?
I'm born and raised in Tobago. I'm usually in Tobago, but I'm here right now visiting for a little bit. But I'll be back in a few weeks.
Nice, very nice. All right, so I read that you will, and I think it's in your final year at the University of Miami, you would have started Kaiso Swim. Was it a project that you had to work on for school, or how did you get the inspiration?
So since I was young, I loved designing swimwear. So I finally decided to kind of step away from track and field and focus on designing swimsuits. I took advertising classes, so I was able to learn how to use Adobe, and I used the skills that I got from that to start that's how I did my first design. But I've always loved swimwear. I've always loved the idea of resort wear, especially growing up on an island, going to the beach all the time. It's like, okay, I think I was kind of groomed to be in this field. I'm creating swimwear and resort wear in general.
No, I was just about to say, when you come home, you might need to bring a few pieces because, of course, you know, Easter is coming up. Easter is coming up, and we have a lot of other long holidays. So I think people would want to buy some of your pieces. So please bring home some. Now, I know that some of your designs, or actually you were also featured in Essence magazine as one of the young and up and coming fashionistas to look forward to. How did that feel?
Oh gosh, it was an amazing feeling. It took months. This was something in the works for months. You know, I reached out to the writer. I did my research. You know, how do you connect with these writers? Because I'm a strong believer in you have to go get what you want. You know, nobody's going to hand it to you. So I reached out. I shared my lookbook. I let her know, okay, like this is my work. This is my passion. This is what I love to do, and this is my lookbook for my 2022-2023 collection. And it was funny because she read the message, and I messaged her maybe in January, and then she didn't respond for like a month later. And she said, you know, I'm sorry for the long wait. I'm pretty overwhelmed right now at work. I'll check it out when I get the chance. And maybe 3 minutes later, she responded, oh my God, I got to look at this stuff. I love it so much. And from there, we kind of created that connection, and we kept talking. And I've spoken to her recently about, you know, how do I go about connecting with more writers the way that, you know, I connected with you. And I believe that, you know, creating that connection would give them a true idea of your brand and a true idea of the purpose of your brand and what you want to do and what you're trying to share, because that allows them to kind of portray the same thing to the readers of whatever blog or magazine that it is you are reaching out to. So I think that's one thing that really kind of like set the tone, like knowing, okay, I need to have this connection with this writer or these writers for them to really be able to sell my brand the way that I want it, you know, to be sold.
Of course. Now, as you're talking about your brand, what are some of the pieces that you offer? And of course, I was reading that the brand was first called Rain, but you changed it to Kaiso Swim. So tell us about the name change, and of course, tell us some of the pieces that you offer.
Okay, so the name change came about because when I launched it in university, I was naive. You know, I didn't know better. I didn't know it. I didn't do any research on like trademarks and what names I can use and can't use. But I always loved the name Rain, so I was like, yeah, obviously I'm going to name it Rain. But I ended up, you know, over the last year, there was like a big shift and a lot of like growth and maturity kind of happened. So I was able to really sit back and think, okay, what do I want out of this brand and what do I want to share when it comes to this brand? So I ended up doing, you know, some reading, some research, and it was actually supposed to be called Calypso Swim. And I was talking to my cousin Ali, and she's like, oh, what about Kaiso? And I was like, you know what, that's it. That's perfect. You know, because Kaiso is all about, and Calypso is all about telling stories. And I love the idea of telling stories through my pieces. And the collection that was just shown, which is Flora and Fauna, it was inspired by the rainforest in Tobago. And the colors came from the saber wing hummingbirds. So it's just being able to tell these stories through my pieces. And I've always loved storytelling. I grew up with a grandmother who would tell us stories every single night before bed, you know. So I think everything kind of came full circle, and with the branding, it was just perfect. It just gives me a platform to really share Trinidad and Tobago and share all the things that I've experienced throughout the Caribbean. You know, it's a Caribbean brand, and to be able to share this Caribbean brand with the world and kind of show the world what Trinidad and Tobago has to offer as well has been honestly a blessing. And the name is just a perfect lineup to share this with the world.
Nice. Now, Trishelle, what sets you apart from other designers? What would you say is your unique signature?
I think a lot of people know me as the floral design girl. Like everything is just so Caribbean, and I try to stick to like modern type floral looks. So every single one of my collection has featured some kind of floral aspect to it, even if it includes like a butterfly or any other animal I could think of, but it's going to have flowers. Like the next collection I have, you just expect the flowers from me, not to give away too much. But the next collection is definitely it shows massive growth from the beginning of the brand to now, and I'm so excited to share it because like I had someone tell me yesterday that I share my work with. They said I can't imagine watching a TV show, watching HBO, and seeing that print because I know what it is. I know what it means to me. And to me, that just gave me goosebumps because that's the point. I want people from Trinidad and Tobago to see their culture and their heritage worldwide, and be like, wow, that is us. That came, from us.
Yes, yes, of course. And so if we in Trinidad want to, order your stuff, I mean, do we go online? Is there a specific place we can go to?
Okay, so I have an online website, kaisoswim.com. But what I suggest people do is use a freight forwarder because I'm still working on getting all the pieces sent, like split up and sent to Trinidad and Tobago, so it's easy to just collect it.
Nice. And I mean, normally, as a designer, you might start off doing one thing, and then eventually, because we're in the Caribbean, we may branch off to costume designing. Do you see yourself aligning with any brands and designing any costumes for us?
So if you know my dad, he's Mr. Carnival. He loves carnivals. I grew up in carnival, so I know for a fact. Well, this year I plan on doing some Monday wear type style for Tobago Carnival. I'm hoping that's the plan. So it's inevitable for me to do carnival stuff.
Now, you mentioned your dad, and of course, you went to school I think was a track and field track, but now you're doing designing. Is he supporting you fully in this?
Oh yes, definitely. Like both my parents are so supportive. My mom, she 3 in the morning. Like I called her before this, and I'm like, "Mommy, this is the link. I need you to tune in so you don't miss out." So yeah, they love just pushing my sisters and I to do what we want to do. And I've always been so blessed and grateful for that. To have parents who really drive us and believe in what we want to do and the legacy that we want to create. They took the risk and they created their legacy. So now I feel like it was almost instilled in me to have this kind of path to go along this path and create something of my own to share and bring that positive energy and positive vibe to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Now, your designs are so Caribbean. I was just wondering who are some of your influences because it seems so home and so floral. So I'm wondering who you would have looked like to kind of draw on your inspiration.
Oh gosh, that's a good question. So my mom, she's a little fashionista. So everything, I think growing up, seeing how like it doesn't matter if we're going to pick up something when she doesn't have to come out the car. My mom is looking good. She's dressed up. So I think from her and how she unapologetic, at least like styles herself, I've been able to really draw from her and draw from my grandparents who were also very artistic people. So I grew up almost in a museum. So I always had those kind of influences around me. I had it from my dad, my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather on both sides. So I think I didn't really have a choice but to go go along this little creative path.
Trishelle, thank you so much for joining us on Now. I love the Tobagonian flavor, and I love that you are keeping your island style, even all the way in the U.S. So we appreciate that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great chatting with you guys.
Of course. All right, guys, and that was Trishelle Leacock, the owner and founder of Kaiso Swim, a new Caribbean resort. Where, what do you guys think, Tash? You think you're going to buy something?
I love it. Listen, so I already found her on Instagram. So for those of you who want to know what her Instagram handle is, it's kaiso.swim. And listen, she doesn't just have swimwear, she has jewelry too, okay? She has some gorgeous hoops that say Kaiso on it. So you know what you're going to be seeing me in very soon. And we're looking forward to seeing that Monday wear because her designs are just, they're gorgeous.
And they're floral.
Yes.
They're very, very Caribbean.
It feels
I really
tropical.
appreciate that.
They
Yes,
do.
I was checking on the website. It feels very tropical.
I can see myself on a yacht with flowy pastels.
Mom,
right? And I can see the earrings and yeah, but I mean, Raucous, manifest. You push it out in the universe, and you don't know what the universe is going to give back to you. All right, guys, so that is how we are shutting down this segment. So now, of course, good morning, Talk City. You're here with Kimberly, Natasha, and Raucous. We're so happy to have you in our company, so stay with us. We're going to be right back.